Hello, everybody. This is Leonard de Guzman with Emily Robinson. We're doing the show Life After D. So you probably know Emily Robinson. She's the internet famous divorce attorney, right? If you Google divorce attorney, like if I anywhere in the San Fernando Valley here in Los Angeles, she'll come up, right, Emily?
I hope so.
So so like just out of curiosity, like so you've been practicing for uh 10 plus years. How long has it been?
Yeah, 13 years.
13 years. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you could ballpark it, how many divorces have you logged over the years, you think?
Oh gosh, that's impossible to say, but you know, I typically have like 40 to 50 active cases at a time. So if you assume, all those wrap up in a few years, gosh, I don't even know, hundreds.
100. Okay, so is it under 500?
It may be about 500. I'm just
Okay.
guessing. I'd have to look.
Okay, so let's say 500. So this podcast is for those people that you've helped, and so we go over topics about life after divorce. So like today, today's May 13th, 2020. From quarantine, something I've been watching a lot is the Michael Jordan series. Right? I don't know if you've watched it. I'm obsessed with it because I grew up in the '90s. And like one of the things they're I guess the word is rehashing. Like people are going back to like uh, obsessing over Michael Jordan. One of the things that came up like in this article by Mary Claire is so Michael Jordan and his wife, his ex-wife Juanita Vanoy, went through divorce. Is among it says here at the probably the time the most expensive divorce in history. I guess they were married 17 years. I guess they ended up settling for was estimated. So Michael Jordan was estimated to be worth, about 400 million, 398 million. And I guess in the settlement, Michael Jordan had to pay Van Noy 168 million in the divorce settlement and 2.1 million in legal fees. So if you could go back, right, if Michael Jordan could go back and you were, his advisor, like as far as like prenup, as far as like the whole process, how would you advise him?
I mean, that's a good question. There's no um, airtight, foolproof solutions to these kind of things. I certainly would recommend that people, especially people with high net worths, get a prenup because it is the only way that you have any control over your assets beyond what California law requires. We're all subject to the same laws, whether we're celebrities or not, and California is a community property state. And so you're going to be splitting everything 50-50. A prenup can help with that. And I definitely would recommend that in a situation like Michael Jordan's. But also, and this might sound kind of strange, but there's just got to be some level of acceptance as well. Like the law is what the law is. And if you're going to have your divorce in California, then you have to go in knowing that there is no, cheap way to get out of it. You can't hire some Beverly Hills attorney who somehow can, get you out of the laws that are there. They may be able to strategize with you and come up with good plans on how to minimize what you have to pay out, but the law is the law, and you're going to be stuck with the same laws as everybody else for the most part. So definitely a prenup. If you're already married and you haven't done a prenup, you can do a postnup. And a postnup is a prenup that's similar to a prenup is done after you're married and during your marriage as a contract. So there's always tools, but yeah, definitely a prenup would be the way to go.
Okay. Well, I wish I had that much money where like even if you cut it in half, he still has like something like 200 million. So okay, well here we go. Here's something from CNBC. Divorce can cause your credit score to plummet. Experts say take these 4 credit steps beforehand. Okay, so number 1 is pull your credit report and review which accounts are linked to your credit. Number 2, separate accounts as quickly as possible. Number 3, contact your creditors to let them know the change of status. Number 4, consider freezing your credit. So like credit's important because when you, I guess in a way, restart your life after the divorce, you got to get like probably a new house, probably new cars. So like as an individual, if you're going through the divorce and you come out of it with a bad credit, that's not good, right? So how
Yeah.
does this all work?
Well, yeah, that is a big issue. So, in divorces, a lot of the times we'll agree one person takes, this car and the other person takes that car, and same with credit cards. The problem is no matter what we agree to in the divorce, the creditors are not bound by what we've put in there. So if your name is on a car loan that your ex-husband took and he doesn't pay it, it's still going to hurt your credit. You can go to divorce court and have him, indemnify you for whatever the car loan company might have taken from you, but it's not going to fix the credit problems. The best thing that I can recommend people do is make sure when you're dividing the assets in the divorce, the things that you split up, make sure you can take your name off of the items that are awarded to the other spouse. Sometimes that means you can just do a quick claim, but usually it would require a refinance. And if that car can't be refinanced or that house can't be refinanced, then it's sometimes just best to sell it and start over. Because if you can't get that refinance done, your name is going to be stuck on that asset. And if your spouse doesn't pay, no matter what your divorce papers say, you're going to get your credit hit. So make sure that whatever assets get awarded to the other person, you're able to actually get your name off of it with the credit card company or the car loan company or whoever it is.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Here's something from online. After 8 years, I got the text last night. My wife told me yesterday that she doesn't love me like I love her, and that it wasn't fair to either of us to keep going. We've been married for 8 years, have no kids, and have a house together. There was no infidelity on either side, just two people that grew into two different people. I'm 32, she's 30. We were kids when we got married, and I never doubted us. She did. We were both military. I got out, she's still in. I had some non-pleasant things happen to me in the service that affected me mentally, but have been going to therapy for 5 years and made progress recovering. She says that when I got out is when the divide started for her, and I understand why. See, we'll skip down here. My emotions come and go, but definitely been leaning on friends and family. All of this is still very raw. I haven't been forcing myself to cry or anything, but when the feelings come up, don't fight it. I'm not trying to hold on to any of it inside. I guess I'm just looking for kind words and reassurances that things will get better. After how I felt for the last 24 hours, I'm truly sorry to everyone that has experienced divorce. These feelings are horrible.
They are horrible. They are. And, things probably will be hard for a while. But, on one side, I do actually see quite a few reconciliations. I always recommend people try therapy, try individual counseling, whatever you need to do that could potentially save your marriage, try it before you take that leap into divorce, because it's always harder to, go back and cancel your case and then reopen it than to try to save the marriage right off the bat. But if that doesn't work, California is a no-fault divorce state. And if your spouse wants the divorce, they're going to get it, whether you want it or not. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to try to get to a place of acceptance, whether that's through talking to friends or a therapist or a religious, clergy member that you trust. That is what you need to do to find a way to accept it in your heart and move forward, because it's inevitably going to happen if the other person pushes it. And so, I think it's fine to take time for yourself and figure out what you need to move forward with the process, but find a way to accept it and be able to move forward, because you don't want to go through the process without a clear head and then make bad emotional decisions. You want to find a way to have a clear head so you can make real rational decisions.
Yeah, this person was in the military. My dad was in the military, and kind of off topic, but he got a big Navy tattoo, and I was like, he had it on his leg, and I was like, why did you get that, Dad? And he was like, it was free. Yeah,
Well, and
so.
there's a lot of PTSD, and people in the military see things that I can't even, begin to imagine. And it can change you, and it can make relationships difficult. And I know there's a lot of resources out there for counseling and helping get through those things. And if that's a possibility to try before you divorce, I say go for it.
All right, here we go. Another one. Marriage dissolved as of 8:17 a.m. What now? I had my final court hearing this morning, and I am now divorced. What do I do now? I can't get together with friends or go on dates. Any suggestions? It feels slightly surreal. I assume because, COVID-19, we can't really go out to like a bar and celebrate with friends. So what's the next best thing?
Yeah, it's tough. I totally get that. I mean, this is our new reality for now and maybe for a while. So people are gonna have to find ways to date and to see their friends. So you're either gonna have to do like social distance dating where you stay far away from each other. It may even become part of a dating ritual to get COVID tests. I mean, it's a different world. You can certainly celebrate by Zoom with your friends. There's Zoom apps to play games and stuff over Zoom where you can, have game nights, have happy hours. Unfortunately, that's like kind of where we are right now. But with dating, I think you have to think of it kind of like long distance dating. Like, what would you do if you were long distance? You'd talk on the phone and on video chat, and that's just how it's going to have to be for a while. It's not ideal, of course, but I think the personal contact is really important. And even if it has to be through, FaceTime or Zoom or something, I think you should still do it.
Yeah, you could like date on Zoom. I just saw someone, like a family friend, although I wasn't invited, they're having a Zoom wedding. Like those are in
Oh,
now.
I mean, I grew up in the 80s and 90s when online dating was becoming a thing, and in the 90s, people all met in AOL chat rooms, and it was way less sophisticated. We had no way to see each other. We would like send pictures by email, and it's probably got to be so much easier to date by the internet these days. So it'd just be like going back to the chat room days where you meet people online and just may take longer before you can meet in person.
Yeah, I have like three friends who I'm pretty close to. They all met their friends on, well, their wives, their spouses on like Tinder, like I think Christian Mingle, and
Yeah. Oh,
Bumble,
Bumble,
and
yeah.
yeah, and so I met my wife in person, so I'm the weird one now. So like, yeah,
Well, yeah, that's the thing. When you talk to people dating, they all say they've met each other online through some type of dating service or some other way. And it's like, it is weird to meet someone in person now. So it actually seems like we were kind of this was already kind of set up before everything happens, that you date online anyway now.
yeah. Here we go. Interesting one. About nesting. Nesting as a transition option. My wife and I have finally decided to separate after 19 years. Our relationship is mostly amicable, and we both say we honestly love and care for each other, but we are not close anymore. That's if that makes sense. There has been a lot of damage done to our relationship a long time ago from both parties that we seem unable to move on from. Let's move on here. Neither one of us wants to sell the home, and we don't want to disrupt the kids' lives as much as possible. Oh, they have three three kids together and own a home. We're now considering nesting. Basically, we could rent a small apartment that we would share and take turns in the house with the kids, 1 week on and 1 week off, sort of thing. Our thoughts is that we would do this for a year and then reevaluate. Has anyone done this? Any thoughts or advice?
So I've had clients do nesting, and a lot of them like it. You do rent a small apartment or something, and you make a custody schedule, and the parent with the kids stays in the house, and the parent not with the kids stays in the apartment. It works pretty well because it saves on costs of needing to have two places that are suitable for children to go. The children don't have to go back and forth. They stay in their own house and they're comfortable. Um, I think it can, on the downside, cause awkwardness because now you're sharing, your ex's space. And even though you're not there at the same time, you're seeing their stuff and, it could be a little awkward. But if you're looking at the best interest of the kids and what is going to benefit the kids and what's going to make it easiest for the kids, I think it's a really great option. I don't think it's a long-term option necessarily, but while you're going through transition period, it's a good option.
Okay, that's all the time we have for today.
It always goes
So
quick.
yeah, as far as like I guess the courts, right? Because we need the courts open to process divorces. Are there any updates?
So Ventura just had a extension on their closure to, I believe, June 9th, and also is starting to file a few things in family law, but a lot of documents still aren't able to be filed. LA is technically supposed to reopen in the next few days, but I think that will likely get extended as well. So I think we're looking at the courts opening up in June at this point. So, but LA does still accept filings for new divorces or motions for, change things after a divorce. So until then, I'm just hanging out in New York in Monica's house. She said I could hang out here for a little bit.
Oh, okay, because we're always switching out Zoom backgrounds. You got the Friends thing. Have you been rewatching them on? I think they're on Netflix or Hulu
I
or
watch them
whatever.
kind of sporadically when they're on. What's yours? Is that Family Guy?
Yeah, I'm a
That,
Family Guy fan.
that one
Yeah.
I watch a lot when it's on, randomly on TV at 10 at night and I'm like folding laundry. I like Family Guy too. It's it's a very funny show.
Yeah, they've been on for the longest time. If you go on Hulu, you just watch 50 episodes.
We used to
Like,
play we used to play Family Guy drinking games in law school.
oh. Okay, let's close on that. For our listeners, tune in next time on the Life After D podcast. Bye now.
Sounds good. Bye.